All right, welcome to the Cloud CMA, using it more efficiently. This does have a workbook that's attached to it that I actually just finished completely redoing. There's one that's available in the link that I sent out this morning. It's also available on BHGenius under class resources. There's a Cloud CMA button and you'll be taken to Google Drive. I'll have the new workbook loaded up there here after class today. If you want to do me a favor and just throw something in chat for me so I know that you are here and I can copy that, and I'll email you the workbook right after I get it finalized after class. All right, so I'm going to jump in here to Cloud CMA. We've got a lot of different CMA options available to us. There's the Matrix CMA that's baked in. We've got RPR that you can use as a CMA, and then Cloud CMA. My preference is Cloud CMA for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's a really easy platform to use. It's very user-friendly. There is some options in there that you can customize, and I'm going to tell you right now that you're going to spend a little bit of time getting all of this set up and customizing it, but then on the back end, when you're blowing and going and you've got a lot of stuff going on, those preferences are going to be preset for you. So you can do CMA so much faster. You know, a lot of our time doing a CMA is spent in Matrix trying to find the comps that we're going to use for the CMA. And the last thing you want is then to spend hours trying to create this beautiful, very polished presentation. I love the product that you get from Cloud CMA in terms of how it looks in final format and the options you have with it. It's not just a static PDF. You can also send a nice preview in a slideshow with then a link to the full PDF. You can present it live with the slideshow. You can print the full report in PDF. There's just a lot of different options you have with Cloud CMA. The other thing that I really like about it, and the reason that I prefer it, is I realize with the Matrix embedded CMA that you really don't have a lot of customization options. And for those that have taken this before, they've heard me say this: if you're competing against another agent, most agents are still using the Matrix CMA. And if I go in second and I sit down at a seller's kitchen table and I throw down my Matrix CMA that's printed, it looks identical down to the color and the cover. It's not from another agent. And even though the information inside of it might be a little bit different, the seller's immediately going to think, oh, this is the same stuff we just heard. So they're going to tune it out. For those that just joined, please put something into chat so I know that you're here, and then afterwards I'm going to be sending out the brand new workbook that I've been doing this morning. I took the old one, made it a little bit more user-friendly, but really I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to work through that workbook and show you how you access the Cloud CMA platform, how you set preferences, and then customize your reports. Save them as a template so it saves you loads of time next time you go in. So let's jump over. Let me share my screen here. All right, so how to access Cloud CMA, we're going to start there. When you log into Matrix on our single sign-on, you have the Cloud CMA button right here. If you click on that, it'll pop you over. It's probably going to make me sign in again. Oh, no, it didn't. It's going to pop you over to the main CMA, Cloud CMA dashboard. You have another way to access. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to access it before we really dive in here. The other way to access it, again, this is from just your single sign-on dashboard. If you're in Matrix, you've got a link right down here in external links. And again, your Matrix main page might look a little bit different than mine. These are all customizable. But in external links, you've got this big Cloud CMA. You can click there, and again, you wind up in the same place. The other way that you can access Cloud CMA, and this is probably more than likely how you're going to be accessing it, is once you're in doing a CMA, you're in Matrix, you're finding the comps that you want used for a CMA. I'm going to pull up just a sample here and show you, if you didn't take or didn't see probably about a month or so ago, I did a full class on doing a CMA from start to finish in Matrix, how to pull comps. We're not going to go over that today. If you want that, go back. It's up on Genius in YouTube. You can watch that, but we're really going to kind of pick up where that class left off. And once you have all of your comps and you've spent your hours in Matrix trying to figure out, you know, what comparables are going to be best used to help price this house and help educate the seller, I put those into a cart. But once we've got those nailed down, what you want to do is click and select them all, and then you've got an easy button to pull those into Cloud CMA. So I showed you how you can access it, you know, from the single sign-on and then from the main page on Matrix and be taken to this dashboard. But watch what happens here when we're in Matrix and we've got our comps. We hit this button right down here, Cloud CMA, and what it's going to do is any listings we have selected are going to pull them right over into Cloud CMA and start a CMA report for us. So this is where we're going to pick up and really kind of dive into the platform here in just a minute. Excuse me, I want to go back though and show you some things that you're going to want to do before you start getting into actually building a report. I want to go back and show you some preferences, some global preferences that you have available to you. And that way, once you get in to a full report here, you already have these things set up. So I'm going to go back here to the main platform. I call it the dashboard here for Cloud CMA. And we are, again, this is in the workbook, and I'm working through trying to stay in order of the workbook. That way, when you receive it and get it, it'll make a little bit more sense. And then, of course, you can always, since I'm recording this, you can follow along with your workbook and watch the video as well if you get stuck. So I'm going to click up here on the upper right. You can see my picture. If you've never put a picture on Cloud CMA, it's going to be your initials. So note that yours might look a little bit different when you get in here if you've never updated your picture. And I'm going to click on this and we're going to go to account settings. And in account settings, we're going to work our way down. I'm not going to spend a ton of time in here, but you want to come in here, and I recommend spending some time in here before you are under the gun to do a CMA to get some of this stuff set up. So we're on the profile now. If I want to change my picture, if I don't have a picture, I can do that right here by clicking on Change My Avatar. I can click, if I don't want a picture, I can click Remove Avatar and just show your initials instead. Full name. This is going to appear on your, it's the name that's going to appear on your finished product with your CMA. So if you go by a nickname, you want to use something different, you know, you can change that here. Company name, company logo. I have the green BHG Kansas City Homes logo. I need to pull up for you. Let me do this real quick. Let me just pull up a sample report for you so you can see. I mean, just bear with me here for just a second. I should have had this one open and didn't. I'm just going to pull up one of these. I have no idea what this is, but this is a Cloud CMA report. But I just want to show you where this, of course, it's taking forever to pull up. So right down here, and let me expand this, and for some reason it does this, on occasion you'll get it, it'll do this really funky thing with your picture. You can see it did it on this report, I had to re-pull it. But you can see where this is displayed on the reports. It's displayed at the bottom of every page. So be cognizant of that as you're setting up these options in your profile, and as we work down, you'll see a couple more of those. Again, I put the company logo, I put the green BHG in here. You could put the bug, you could really choose whichever logo you want to. If you have a team logo, you could use that. Make sure the brokerage logo is on here somewhere though. Email address, city and state, that's not going to show up necessarily on your report, but you can certainly add those. And then make sure that you hit save if you've made changes. Next one down is our contact info. This is what shows up at the bottom of your reports. You've got your name, the company name, your cell phone number, and then email. If I wanted additional phone numbers in here for additional information, I need to add this to the contact list. So if I don't want my mobile, I want my work phone, I might delete this and put a work phone in instead. To add a new contact method, you do that right here from a drop down. You can put in office address, office phone number. Because this isn't public advertising, you don't necessarily need to have your office address in here. Just know that. I've gotten asked that question before when we do this live. So you can see right down here, hopefully you can see it, it's really shaded, that you can drag and drop. That way on your final report, you can decide what order you want these put in by just mousing over, clicking and holding and dragging those. Any questions before I move on the profile or the contact info that you would put in here? If you want to unmute yourself, feel free, or type it in chat. I'll be watching that. All right. Next one down, we're not going to spend any time in here. Password, if you want to update your password. MLS credentials, if for some reason you're not pulling over from MLS, you might come here and just check your MLS preferences. If you ever change your MLS password, you do want to come in here and update that to update your credentials. That'll have an effect on your single sign-on. I'm going to skip custom pages. We're going to come right back to it. But I want to skip to integrations. And on integrations, you have the ability in Cloud CMA to pull in, when we get to the content of what's coming into your CMA, you have the ability to pull in Real Satisfied. I talk about Real Satisfied because it's, you know, a benefit that we get from the company. Some of you might have other testimonial websites that you use. There's a couple on here. Outside of Real Satisfied, if you use any of these, you're in luck. There's an integration, but since most of you are using Real Satisfied, I'll point that one out. You do need to come in here and put your vanity key in here. To find your vanity key, you go to Real Satisfied, and it's right under your picture. Typically, it's your first name dash last name. But come in here. I've got a video on Genius that walks you through how to find your Real Satisfied vanity key if you have any trouble on that. But do come in here, come over here to your preferences and put that vanity key in here. That way, when you get to your report, see if I have it on this report. Oh, good. Oh, no. Here it is right here. I was right on it. So this, I didn't have to do anything to get this information pulled into my CMA. Because I got that integration set up on the integrations page here, it allows me, when I'm building my CMA report, to pull over, if I want in my report, to pull over my Real Satisfied agent ratings. It'll pull in your most recent testimonials, and then it'll also pull in your satisfaction recommendation performance stars. So pretty handy. But to get that, you have to go over to the integrations page here and put in that Real Satisfied vanity key. Any questions on that? If you have Zillow, if you use Zillow for some testimonials, you can have multiple integrations go in here. So I know some of you, when we talk about our online profiles, I recommend that you get a couple on Zillow, just so it doesn't look like, you know, when customers are there searching for you, you've got a couple on there. So a lot of you might have that. You can put that in here as well and pull both of those over and pick and choose maybe which ones you want. We're not going to go, I don't see any questions here on integration, so I'm going to keep moving. If you have questions, just stop me, put it in chat, or unmute yourself. I'm not going to do anything in billing. We don't need to pay anything for Cloud CMA. This is a service that's provided because you are members of Heartland MLS. You can give them a big thank you. So don't ever come into and think that you got to pay for anything in Cloud CMA. I will tell you, there are different products under the Cloud CMA umbrella. We're in the CMA product. There is a product called CloudStream that very similar to KansasCityHomes.com, our buyer search tool. That portion of Cloud CMA is going away soon. But no, when you start seeing that, it's not the CMA portion. It's just CloudStream, which is a buyer tool. So just FYI on that. Okay, I'm going to go back up here into custom pages. So in Cloud CMA, you notice when I pulled up my CMA report, let's scroll back up here to the top. I apologize, I'm scrolling fast. I don't mean to make you sick. I have a custom cover that I use on all of my CMAs. This does one of two things. It sets me apart from every other CMA that might be thrown on that seller's kitchen table. And it just allows me to use my own branding. So I created this cover in Canva. It's an 8.5 by 11. I designed it in Canva. I downloaded it as a PDF. And then over here in custom pages, here it is right here. I just uploaded it. So now in every single report CMA that I do, that cover is pulled in for me. And I don't use the Cloud CMA cover. Even though you've got the ability, if you don't want to go to that extreme, I think it's well worth it to do it. You've got the ability to still customize the built-in cover that Cloud CMA has for you. But I like using that custom cover. So you have the ability here to, these are the custom PDF pages that I've added. Up here, if I want to add a new one, I'm going to add a title. Let's just say Christian's Test. And here it'll allow me to add, if I don't have a PDF, this will allow me to add a custom page. And really it operates a lot like a Microsoft Word or Google Docs. I think this is a little challenging to use. So if I've got something custom that I want put up into Cloud CMA, I'll upload a PDF instead of using their editing platform. But you do have the ability to do that if you want to, To add your own PDFs, why I skipped that, I apologize. You come down here to the very bottom and hit Upload PDF. So once you do that, you select your PDF from your cover, and then we'll just do this. This is a cover that I'm using for our workbook. Hit Open, and that'll now be available to me in every one of my CMA reports. So here's an idea for you. You know, when I'm doing a CMA, I'm also doing a listing presentation. So I'm pulling in pages from our seller book, and I'm pulling in Cloud CMA. If I want it to look like one cohesive presentation, I might take our seller book and pull it into here with PDFs. You can do that. So if you have specific pages that you use out of the seller book, not all of us use every single page, but if you've got specific pages that you use in every one, you might take the time to download those. You're going to have to download them individually and upload them into Cloud CMA. But it allows you to then have a very seamless presentation. Yes, it's going to take you some time, but once you get it all up in there, you know, it'll be available to you. Any questions on uploading your own PDFs here? I am going to go back up and show you how to edit the custom pages that the system has baked in for you. Any questions on adding custom pages? All right. So the system does have some baked in custom pages that you can come in and edit if you don't want to go to the trouble of doing your own PDFs. I showed you how to add a new one, but there are some baked in ones for you. All of these from our company up are baked in and they're already there for you. So like a marketing action plan, I actually use this one. I really need to go create my own and upload it into PDF, but right now this is what I use. So if I hit the little pencil next to it, in case you missed that, I'll show you one thing before I hit that pencil. If I hover over the title, this little eyeball pops up and this is your preview. So if I click on this, I can see a preview of what this page currently looks like. And if I want to edit that, I hit the pencil and I go in and I can copy and paste from, you know, if I've got a Microsoft, if I've got a doc, I've got a PowerPoint, I've got it in Google Docs, Word, whatever, I can just copy that and come in here and paste it. The verbiage that you're pasting will then be put on the Cloud CMA. You'll have the nice, you know, template, letterhead type stuff, property address for whatever CMA you're working on. It'll look very nice and professional. This is why I like this versus uploading a PDF for internal pages. because it'll have your page number on it. It'll have the property address. It'll look like all your other pages versus looking like a random page you just threw in the middle of your CMA. So I like using the baked in pages for any internal pages. Client testimonials, if you don't use the integration, before the integration, I came over and copied and pasted some Real Satisfied into this client testimonial. Again, you get your nice cohesive look, and then you can come in and copy and paste. If you maybe have testimonials that have been emailed to you that are in a platform where there's not an integration, this is how you could get around that. So you'd come to client testimonials, hit edit, and then just copy and paste right into this format. You can also add in here, I can add links, I could add pictures. There's lots of editing tools that you've got here. Agent resume is another one that you probably saw that on mine. This is my agent resume page on a final CMA. But I got that by coming into custom pages and spending some time and updating this agent resume page. So again, I recommend you spend some time, if you're going to use Cloud CMA as your CMA platform, spend some time getting all this set up. Yes, it's going to take you some time on the upfront, but then when you get ready to do a CMA for somebody, everything is in one system. You're not trying to find your resume or find your marketing plan that's saved in this folder, or find that's on this website. It's all going to be right here for you to pull into a nice, very polished presentation. Okay, we're going to move on unless anybody has any questions or comments about the custom pages. All right. So again, we got to all of these account settings, all of this setup by clicking on our initials or pictures in the upper right and going to account settings. And then I just worked our way down this list. Okay, so let's flip here and go back to, I had started over here in Matrix to show you, okay, now that you've spent your time getting all your stuff set up, now we're ready to do a CMA. So we're over in Matrix, we clicked on our listings, we hit this little Cloud CMA button, and here we are now over on the Cloud CMA platform, ready to do a presentation, ready to do our listing, our CMA. Sorry, my phone's ringing. So we are going to work, the first screen that you come to is going to be the criteria screen, and we're going to work top to bottom, but we're working left to right. So the first thing that you want to do is give a name to your report. I typically do the client name. I'm just going to do that. I have started using private notes because I want to know the date that I'm doing this. When I'm back over here on the main dashboard, if you click on these, you can see last viewed, last updated, but I like putting in, see this private note, right? If I click on it, it's going to roll over. I'm going right down here under the Prairie Village 66228, CMA dated June 15th. I can tell at a glance when I created that CMA. And you get that little note by putting that right in here in your private notes. This doesn't show up anywhere other than just for your knowledge. What is today? The 24th? We're gonna pretend like it's 24th. So I've got my client name, I've got my private note. Now I'm coming over here to my subject property, and I need to input my subject property. So we are going to input, once you start inputting, it will actually pull up a property for you. And if there is any tax data found, it will fill out some fields for you. So down here, I always like you to select or to click on advanced info. This will allow you to put in additional details. So this is actually a 2-car garage. The area is area 320. Subdivision is Corinth. It's a side-by-side split. So I like putting those additional details in. So once we've got our subject property information, down here is an either or field. We're not doing both of these. So the MLS numbers that you brought over, all those MLS numbers that I had checked right here are sitting right here. Now at this point, if I know, oh gosh, I forgot something, I could certainly add another MLS number right in just by typing it. If I don't have time to start in Matrix and do a you know, a full CMA. Oftentimes we'll get calls from people that are like, hey, can you come by tonight? I just want to get a sense as to, you know, what's going on in my neighborhood. You know, we're doing a very general kind of a first step with potential sellers. They just want to get an idea. I do these when, you know, I've had people call me that say, you know, can you come by and take a look at the house? We're not sure if we want to sell it or not, but we just want you to come look at it. I don't want to spend hours in MLS. So instead, and especially if I'm under the gun, I'll come in here and I'll do what they call their quick and dirty. So instead of bringing MLS listings over from MLS and going through that process, I'll click here on the quick and dirty and I'll do the automatically find listings. This will give me a good basis if I'm doing a neighborhood report for somebody. I'm going to do automatically find near the subject property, get at least, and you can select how many listings you want the system to pull and how far back you want it to go. So I think 3 years is the max. I want it to go back 1 year. And then I'm going to hit this more criteria. And now I can narrow down even more. If I want to get real specific and get the best comparables for the house, I'll probably want to use these fields. You use this side if you want the system to pull for you. This side if you've already spent your time in MLS, pulling in the comps that you want. So I'm going to let the system pull this for this one. We'll see what it does here. So I'm going to hit fetch listings at the bottom. And now it's going to take me to our second step. And our second step here is our listing details. So you've got your map up here at the top. I can zoom in, zoom out on this. And then I can click on these pins. And from here, and this is kind of good, especially if you're having the system pull. From here, I can decide if I want this selected or not for my CMA. So I know that one's not even going to come close. So that one's already selected, which is good. It's got the green check on it. This one is not selected, but I want to select it. So I click on, as I'm opening that, you can see where I'm clicking and unclicking on that green check. And then it'll change colors. So the actives, it's all color coded. The actives are your greens, the solds are your reds that are selected for the report. Any questions on that? That's kind of your quick view up there at the top. Let's work our way down and I'll show you some functions down here. When I'm doing a CMA, a full CMA, I've already spent time in Matrix pulling all of this, so I don't spend a whole lot of time on this screen. There's not a whole lot that I need to do here. Right here is where you set your price. So if I already know what I want to recommend to them as a list price, I'm going to put that in here. I can put a range in here. I can put 400,000 to 410. Let's do 420. Or I can put an exact price. Or I can leave this blank. If it's I usually do 2 stop listing appointments. If it's my first stop, I don't put a price in. I haven't stepped foot in their house in maybe forever or ever. It's hard for me to give them a price if I've never stepped foot in their house. So oftentimes I like to, if possible, and if time allows, to do a 2-step listing appointment. The first time around, this is usually how I do it. I let the system pull. I'll kind of fine tune it a little bit. I don't put a price in. And you know, it doesn't take me too terribly long to do this. And then once I've been in the house, I'll come back into Matrix and pull the best comparables and then come back in and fine tune this based on that. Okay, so we set our list price. If we click this drop down right here, this price guide net sheet, this will tell you based on the comps that were pulled in, it'll tell you some stats here. So, and then a suggested range. So sometimes it's valuable to look at this. Other times, I mean, we know better than the computer does what the range is going to be. So this is just kind of a you know, basic information for you, but I don't use that to price a house. Net sheet down here, oftentimes we'll have sellers that say, okay, can you give me two prices? One based on if we did nothing, and the other based on some updates that we need to do. Now, if you know what updates they plan to do and how much they're going to cost, you could put that into a net sheet here. You could also do a full net sheet for them. I think it's a lot harder to do it in this platform than it is in some of our others. So I don't use this function or this feature, but it's there if you want it. Any questions on that before I minimize that and keep moving down? I don't want to spend a ton of time on this page. I really want to get to the meat of the customization. Okay, so down below here are our listings. I like this drop down. You can select how you want these listings sorted, and this is how they will show up on your CMA report. So I like them done by status, and it's showing me sold at the top. The ones with the green check are what I'm going to be using, what's pulled in. I like having active at the top. So right here, I want to flip this, and now I have active at the top instead of sold. I like showing active first. I'm going to click on a pending just so we can see what that looks like. You can see over here how our summary and stuff starts populating. If I want to check all of these, I can do include all. If I want to exclude all of them, I can do exclude. I will tell you when you're pulling over from MLS, it will automatically include everything you're pulling over. But you can always mess with this. Now, with each listing, if I want these reordered, I can just drag. So if I don't want that one to show up first, I want the 559 to show up first, I can just drag and drop here, put them in whatever order I want. Other thing to show you here, details and adjustments. If you pull this, it's going to pull your full detail on these. The cool thing about this is this is the MLS remarks. Look what I can do. Delete. And I can put my own remarks in here. I can put, information that I have about this house. If it, roof HVAC was updated, how it compares to my subject property, or I can leave all of the MLS remarks. And maybe I just want to put my notes up here at the top. This will print on your report. I know a lot of people like to and I used to do it, handwrite the notes. And there's, I think there's still some validity to handwriting. I think it's, the sellers appreciate it. But if you'd rather type, you can do it right here. Good spot to do it. Down here, it does allow you to make adjustments to your comps. I don't use this feature. I'm not an appraiser. I base the house off of the totality of, all the features and location and everything that goes into doing a CMA. I don't personally think it's right for me to make adjustments. So it is what it is, right? I'm going to hit update, so it'll save my note up there. If you want to use that adjustments, it's right there. Again, that's just personal preference. To minimize this, I come right back up here and I hit details and adjustments, and it'll minimize, and I can go on to the next one. Again, I don't spend a ton of time doing that. The other feature that I want to show you on this screen is you can add a listing. So if I know that there was a listing that the system didn't pull in that I want to add, I can click add a listing, and I can either do it by MLS number, or perhaps there was an off-market for sale by owner. And I can go ahead and enter property details right here. What I have, I can even add a photo, and then there's advanced info as well. So lots of stuff that I can add here for an off-market listing. I love this feature of Cloud CMA. Love it. So again, to add a listing, it's going to be at the bottom of this page. You hit add listing and it'll give you all these options, either MLS number or input the details. Okay, we're going to move on to the customization page. Before I do, any questions on this page or any thoughts on this page? Okay, moving right along. Oh, I think I saw something just pop up here in chat. Patty, the gray listings are ones that weren't selected. Remember, we had the system select, and when the system selects, it's showing me other options that were available that the system didn't think were comparable, but that I could pull into the report. So you can watch up at the top, 80th Terrace, which is going to be, I think this one. Oh, let's see, 80th Terrace is the 559. Why don't I see it up here? Oh, it was a canceled. If I select that, you'll see up here where it changes on our map. But the grays right here, the grays are where it's not being, it's telling you that's not pulled into your report. If you want to add it, you can do it from down below by clicking, or you can do it right from the map. If I do it from the map, it'll now turn red for me. So anything that's grayed out means it's not going to pull into your report. Okay, don't see any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and move on. We're going to the customize now. So really, when you're in Cloud CMA, you've got three steps. You've got your criteria, your listings that we're on right now, and then our customize. And customize is where we're going to spend the most of our time as we're doing these CMA reports. So I'm going to go ahead and hit customize report. If ever I need to go back to one of the previous screens, I can do that by clicking up here. So I can menu back and forth between all steps. Go back to customize. Okay, so bear with me because there's a lot of stuff on this page, and I'm going to try to break it down for you best I can. You will notice when you get here, let me just show you navigation first. Over here on the left-hand side is content that we have available that we can pull into our report. Over here in the white, on the right side, this is what is currently in our report. This is the content. Because I do what will come up is the last report that you did. It'll pull that content in. So your screen is going to look completely different than mine when you get to this step. This is where you're going to spend some time getting this stuff set up, and I've got some tools and some cheat sheets for you. They're over here in Drive. I give you an example of 2 different reports that I do, and I give you a screenshot of the different pages that I pull in, just to kind of give you a starting point. Let me go back over here, and I'm going to take everything out of this report, which is really kind of what I want you to do when you come in here the first time. Do a mock CMA, come in here, figure out what content you have available to you and what content you want pulled into this report. And then we're going to save it as your template. So every time you come in to do a CMA, you don't have to start from scratch. That's the point that I want to get you to. You've got your custom pages pulled in. You've got the content that you like pulled in on your CMA reports, because there's a lot of options. You're going to see them in just a second, and you're going to be overwhelmed. That's why I give you these cheat sheets, is to kind of take some of that pain away of being overwhelmed when you start seeing all of these options that you have. So over here on the left-hand side, right now I've got nothing in my report. It's blank. It is blank. So the only thing we are going to focus on right here is this, what's under standard. Everything down below you have to pay for. I don't recommend. We've got a bunch of Tom Ferry stuff, you've got access to that. We've got access to that through our marketing department and our seller books, through BHG National. The stuff that's over here is really for people that don't have that support. There's no reason really for us or for you to pay for it. I'll tell you, that's pulling one of these up It's how I got the idea to do my custom page in Canva. I was like, I don't need to pay for one of their pretty covers. I can do it myself. So we're just going to focus on what's under standard here. So these little carrots that are green will drop down all of the pages that you have available, and they've tried to categorize them for you and put them into some sort of order. As you pull these down, you're going to see all of the different content that you're available to pull in to your CMA report. These are all the customizations. Right down here at the very end are my custom pages. So when you start uploading your own PDF, this is where they are. So here's my cover page. This actually is not it. This is the wrong one. I need to delete that. It is this one. So if I hit this green add, it's going to add this right over here to my report. There's this page. There's a lot of options here. There's a ton of them. That's why I give you the cheat sheet on kind of where to start. Spend some time over here and get this set up. And then every time you come back in here, we can save your setup. When you come back in here, I'm going to show you how you can easily just pull the content you like and not have to worry about messing with all this stuff over here on the left-hand side. To add pages, again, you hit the red or the green plus. If you want to preview what this page is going to look like, again, we hover over the title and we hit the little eyeball, and it'll show me that's the baked in cover page that Cloud CMA does. I don't add those to my report because I've got my own. So I want to take this out. I can hit the red and it puts it right back over here on the left-hand side. As you select things from over here, they're going to disappear from the left and they will be over here on the right. So I want the agent resume. This is, again, that's one of those custom pages that that's baked into the system that I updated. I like having that in there, so I'm going to hit that plus. Once you get pages over here, you can reorder them by just dragging and dropping. So I want the contact me page. I like that at the very end. I'm going to get everything over here and then I'll show you how we're going to reorganize this stuff. I like this. I like that in my report. These chapter pages, these are just dividers. I'll click on the little eyeball. These are just dividers to kind of divide your report and give it some separation between all the sections. So if you want that page in, you can. I will warn you here under listings, the details, you want that. That details the comps. I'll show you what that looks like. There's the details. I wish I could make that bigger. There are the details of the listing. Now, that's the details. Now you've got the option for how many pictures you want. This is how your report can become 152 pages. These two options right here. I want photos. The first one just gives me the first dozen that are in MLS. Here's the first dozen. This is what the page is going to look like in my report. I love this top, by the way. We'll look at that in a second. So I want that. If I want, now that we can put 99 pictures in MLS, and some agents do, even though they shouldn't, if I click this more photos, if a listing has 99 photos, all of those are going to be pulled into my report. So be cognizant of that. This is, again, how you go from having a 40-page report to 152 pages real quick, is this option right here, depending on how many pictures, photos are in MLS. So be wary of this. I usually keep that out. If you made any adjustments to the listings, which I don't, but adjustments, that's how you pull that information in. Analysis, this is where we really get into the meat of, what we think and what our analysis is of all these comps. So some of these, I'll tell you, my absolute favorite is online valuation analysis. Let me show you what this looks like. Oh, come on. So I'm going to hit print and see if I can get a bigger. Oh, it's not going to because I'm sharing my screen. So this shows you how accurate Zestimates are in their neighborhood or within the comps that you pulled. So check this out. So down here, you're obviously your active and pendings. You don't have any data on. The Zestimate always, you know, they sit there and adjust that immediately to when a house is listed. So it's kind of unfair. Oh, what did I just do? Go back. Apparently, if you click on that, you actually get through. Where did this go? There it is. So here you can see in this neighborhood, the Zestimates varied 57%. What a great way to show to your sellers who are so caught up on, well, Zillow thinks my house is worth this. Instead of telling them, you now can show them. And this is pulled in automatically for you from Cloud CMA. So this will tell you the sold date. These are the sold comparables that are pulled into here, what the sold price was and what the Zestimate was. And unfortunately now Zillow, this data is becoming less and less reliable, because now when a house goes active, Zillow immediately changes their estimate. So of course it's going to look like they're accurate. So just know that they've changed that process a little bit. But I love that page. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can go through these. A lot of these in the closing section and in the introduction section are your fluff pages. And a lot of these, this is the one complaint that I have about Cloud CMA, is there's a lot of words on these pages, and I like pictures. No one's going to read. This is the staging one. I want to see some before and after pictures. I don't want to see 8 paragraphs. So I don't pull these pages. It's the one complaint that I have about CMA. Their fluff pages are not good. But if that's the one complaint I have, I'm okay with that, because the CMA shouldn't be a bunch of fluff anyways. We pull that fluff in. I pull it in for from the seller book, not from here anyways. So again, you've got all these different sections. I'm not going to go through them all. You all can do that on your own. I give you the cheat sheets as to the sections that I like using. But do you have any questions so far about how to pull content from over here on the left and get it over here onto the right? Next thing I'm going to show you is how you start really customizing what your finished product looks like. Again, if you want to reorder the pages, you do that. You'll notice when I'm mousing over, you'll see that little cross. Once I have that, I can drag that and put it in whatever order I want it. Where did my cover go? I lost it when I somehow went over to Zillow. Okay. Okay, I do want to show you up here, these are important. These are some customization settings that are pretty important. The theme will put, you notice on, let's see, let me pull one of these. You'll notice here that I have green up here. If I change the theme, and there's 100 different options as far as what color scheme I want. Maybe I want lime and gray. They'll give me a preview here. Let's choose that theme. And now let's look at that. Oh gosh, and it changed all of my content. I forgot to warn you of that. You want to start over there before you pull all your content over and make any changes. Oh, let me just pull one of these and I'll show you what it does. So now the top is this ugly lime green. I never touch theme. Once I had it set, I never go back and touch it. I will warn you that when you change your theme, again, the content changes. There is a theme in here. You're going to see it and you're going to be really, really tempted to use it, but don't. It is we have a BHG real estate. Watch what happens when I select this. I choose theme. The content that's available to me then becomes really limited. And the pieces, you'll see what happens right over here. All of a sudden, I don't have that analysis. I have 3 different sections to choose from. And a lot of this is the national, their listing presentation. So it's really not a CMA. This is more of a listing presentation. So don't, it's going to be tempting for you to pull that. And if you pull it, you're going to go, where in the heck is all the content? It changes based on your theme. It'll change. the content under modern, just changing color, it's not going to change what's available to you. The ones that have change what's available to you are your CRS and your BHG branded one. But your colors are not going to change the things that are available to you. I like the modern green. That's my preference. So let's go back to that. So that's theme. Next thing over here is your layout. So your layout, you saw on my report. Let's come right down here to detail and just pull it open. Right now, the layout that I have chosen is I want the first two pictures that were in MLS. It's not usually what I use, but I'm going to show you how you change that. I don't like that. Why do you need two pictures at the front of the property? You're kind of bound to what the agent has put into MLS, right? So under layout, and again, this can really affect too the length of your presentation, you can decide if you want, the one I just showed you are two photos. I like having this one. It's the first photo in MLS, which is typically the front, and then a map. Let's see, I'll show you the difference here. So now that's what my listing detail page is going to look like. If I want to consolidate, I might select one of these 2-column comparisons, 3-column or 4-column comparison. But again, you can customize that. You can decide how you want the information displayed based on how detailed you like to get when you go do a CMA. There's lots of options here. I like the photos with map, but some people like those 2- and 3-column comparisons. I'm not going to template yet. We're going to go there in just a second. The font that I use is Lato. That's the font that is, it's actually one of our brand fonts. Please, 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 I don't think it's even an option. It better not be. Don't use one of the script fonts. Oh, good. They don't even have it as an option. They used to have a script font as an option. Nobody wants to read that. The cover, this is where you have to start paying for stuff. So again, I clicked on that once and I went, well, wait a second, I can create that. This stuff is free in Canva. I don't need to pay for it. So that always says on mine no cover, even though I've got my own cover. Okay, so when you get to this screen the first time, you're gonna get this set up first. Get your theme done, get your font done, and your layout done. Second thing you're gonna do is get your content over here that you want. Once you have this set up and you say, okay, most of the time when I do a CMA, this is how I'm going to present it, or this is the content that I want pulled in. Now you might change that. You know, you might tweak it a little bit here and there depending on your audience or depending on your seller. But once you figure out what content you're typically going to use for your CMA, you get all this page all set up. We've started up here with theme, layout, font. We've pulled in the pages we want from the left side to the right. Now we're going to save it. And we save it by clicking right up here on template. And we're going to hit the first button here, save as a template. And I'm going to save this, and it's going to be my June 24th sample. Save. Okay. Now I want to show you when you click on template. This is all. These are ones that I've saved, and then ones that are built in from the system. So the built-in systems, Cloud CMA has some templates for you. So if you get stuck, you get to this page, you're like, I have no idea what content to pull in. I give you the cheat sheet of what I use, but then you can also do this, and you can say, okay, what, you know, Cloud CMA has one they suggest that's just a comps only. Let's see what that one looks like. And when you click on that, you get the pages that they recommend. And then I can always add more. So I want my cover page. Oh my gosh, I keep hitting on the preview instead of the. So that's what happens when you hit one of the templates. So you save your template, and then every time you come in to do a CMA, instead of having to spend, you know, an hour on this page trying to figure out what content you want, and gosh, what order did I have it in last time? It is saved for you. This is going to save you a boatload of time in the future. So now when I come and I'm on my listings and I do my customized report and I get to this screen, I go right to template and I go to custom right here. These are the ones that Christian has saved. and I pull up my 2020 quick CMA, that's one I like. This is everything I like in it. Yep, yep, good, good. Publish, I'm done, I'm out the door with this thing. That is kind of the silver bullet to saving yourself a ton of time when you're doing CMAs. Yes, you're going to have to invest some time on the upfront, coming in here. Oh, I didn't want to go to publish. Coming in here and getting all of those customizations set up. But believe me, it will be well worth it to you on the back end when you are in a hurry and flustered and trying to get out the door with the CMA. This will save you a boatload of time. Boatloads of time. Now, once you pull up your template, and you can have as many as you want saved. I've got a couple saved. I've got my quick CMA. This is my first step usually where I'm just doing a real quickie. Evaluation report, that's after I've been to the house, I'm doing my full-blown CMA. And then I've got some others that I've saved over time. You can have as many templates as you want. So if you want to save multiple templates, have at it. I have two that I really use, and that's the my down and dirty. I used to call it my down and dirty. It's my quick and then my final. But you can save as many as you want, and it'll save you a ton of time when you get to this screen. Tons of time. Yes, you're going to have to invest some time on the upfront coming in here and getting this all set up, but you will thank me later. Okay, what questions do you have, or what comments do you have about using this customization and saving templates? What do you want me to show you again that maybe you didn't get, I went too fast on the first time? Feel free to either put it in chat, or you can unmute yourself so I can hear you. Make sure, if you were not on at the very beginning of the class, I just finished, right before we started this, I just finished a new workbook that will take you step by step through everything that I just did today. If you want an advanced copy of that, make sure you put something in chat for me so that I know I've got record of who was here, and I can make sure that that gets in the hands of everybody that was here as soon as possible. It'll also be loaded up on Drive for everybody else this afternoon, but I figured I'd give you all the easy buttons since you were here. Okay. I will find out, Carol, when CloudStream is going away, but it's going away because it's not a lot of people are using it. So they're going to take that away. Amy, I'll send you the workbook. Carolyn, thanks for breaking this down, making it understandable. I might be able to, you can do this, I promise. And when you have this workbook in your hand, it is going to walk you through everything I just did, step by step, with screenshots. And you can always come back. I recorded this today. You can always come back and watch the video, and you have your workbook and you have Cloud CMA up, and you can just roll right through it. I will send everybody the workbook. And then know too, these other resources, and I'm kind of fine tuning them because they've been up there for a while, but let me show you real quick where all my Cloud CMA resources are. I'm on BHGenius, and if I just go here to the video and class resources, and then click on class resources, I'm getting ready to redo all this because I think it's way too many clicks. I go to Cloud CMA, and this pops you over to Google Drive where I've got all the class resources. So this is where that new workbook will be here. Don't click on this one. This is the old one. This is the old one. But this is where you can get, I give you an example of what I call my down and dirty. This is my first step, what this looks like in the full report. And then I also give you, so you've got the full report there, and then with that is this page that shows you, okay, what content did she pull in on that one? So those two kind of go together. Does that make sense? So you can kind of see, okay, these are the pages that she had. What do those look like in a full report? And then I've got my, that's the only one. I'm going to do the full evaluation one for you as well, and get that up in here as well. So you've got both of those examples of both of those to at least give you a baseline. So when you come in and start doing your customizations and content, you've got some ideas to what to pick, maybe a little cheat sheet for you. Okay, any other questions? Thank you all. I'm glad that you were here and glad that you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found it useful and it wasn't, I hope that you're not logging off of this completely overwhelmed. There's a lot of options in here, but like I said, just spend some time getting this set up, and then once you're busy and going, you'll make your life a whole lot easier. All right. Thank you all for joining today. I appreciate it. I'll hang out for just a couple of seconds here, or a couple of minutes afterwards if you have any individual questions. But thanks all for coming. And for those that put their names or comments in chat, I will get this new workbook out to you as soon as I finalize it here today.